Yo, what's up? My name's Clarence,
And I'm DJ Nuna,
and you're listening to Up in the Air.
a podcast on our thoughts, moods, and experiences on the personal, political, and cultural world around us. Come float with us. For this week's episode, we have DJ, Twitch streamer, and beatmaker SunnyDJCreatives. On this episode, we talk about his creative process, how he started his journey as a DJ, as well as his new startup of his Twitch stream and channel. We hope you enjoy and thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. Thank you so much for joining us today, Sunny. We're so happy to have you on the show. I've known you for a couple of years now, and this is your first time meeting Clarence. But yeah, we're super excited. But yeah, just checking in. How have you been? Maybe you want to introduce yourself a little bit. How's quarantine been treating you? Yeah.
I'll give a quick intro. Hello to everyone listening. My name is Sun Woo, or you can call me Sunny. Or I guess in this context, you can call me Sunny DJ. I've been DJing. So I've been technically DJing for about 8 years, but I only really consider the last 2 years as kind of part of my career, and we can get into that another time. But yeah, no. So I've been working on my craft and doing my thing on Twitch and on Instagram, and you guys can catch me there on both platforms at SunnyDJCreatives. And I'm doing well. Quarantine has been hitting me hard for sure. I'm about to hit a year at my full-time job. I work as a technical analyst, and dude, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. The work from home life, I think when I didn't really have like an office setting is really hard, because I feel like I'm at home and no one's watching me, and I can be lazy as I want. But yeah, I'm definitely trying to work around that and continue to work on like my day job, continue to work on my my hobbies on the side and everything. So quarantine has definitely been a journey for me.
Yeah, for sure. I think work from home, it's hard creating that work-life balance just because you're in your own space all the time. You don't have to wear like professional pants. You can just wear pajamas. Like I'm wearing pajama pants right now. So yeah, I feel that. But how has it been kind of balancing your DJing and Twitch streaming with work and stuff like that?
Yeah, I try to keep it as hard of a schedule as I can, so it's not like I'm doing it anytime outside of the set schedules that I have, or I guess just so it doesn't bleed over into work. And then I also make sure that like if there's anything where I have to focus more on work, like even past my work hours, then that's my focus and priority. But I mean, if anything, this has also been helping me keep me sane, I guess, throughout all this, knowing that hey, I get to go in, do my work during the day, and yeah, that's not really like I'm not really jumping for joy for that, but it's something that I've worked towards, and like that's my career, and that's fine. And I know that like as soon as I'm done putting in work for that, like I can de-stress and work on something that I really enjoy doing, and something that I really have fun doing, and especially with streaming and all that stuff, I get to really interact with a lot of great people, a good community. I was listening on the last episode you guys had with Lean's Beans. I mean, I resonated a lot with everything she was saying. I think music streaming is a little different from gaming streaming, but the sentiment is still there about like the community, no matter how big or small, it's so awesome to see people come along for the ride. And so in many ways, more than one, streaming and working on DJing outside of work has been like definitely keeping me sane.
Is streaming something that you would have started regardless of the pandemic? Because I think a lot of people have being cooped up in their house, they're like, oh my god, maybe I'll just try something to again like keep you sane.
I don't think I don't know if I would have started, or if I would have started like in these circumstances, I guess. Pretty much like what I was doing is I went on a run, and I was just thinking about all these weddings that got canceled or postponed. So I had a whole bunch of gigs lined up for this year, and it was like that week I was getting hit by all these messages saying like, hey, like canceled, or we're gonna postpone. And these are all people that I personally knew, and so it was my heart went out to them more so for myself. Obviously, it was just a bummer I didn't get to celebrate with them like sooner than I wanted to, or at all. But then I was just thinking about like, oh man, like, so my next gig won't be till like next year. Like, what am I gonna do? I obviously still want to practice. I still want to like, play music for people and stuff. And so I was like thinking about different ways I could do that. And I remember I just remembered like talking to a friend about streaming, like a streamer that he was watching, and it was like a good time. And I just like recently started like dipping my toes into Twitch. Like, I didn't really know much about it, but I thought it was cool. And so yeah, I was just on that run, like thinking about life and thinking about what I could do with DJing and stuff. And I was like, hey, why don't I give that a shot? That could be a cool experiment. The worst that happens is that I get a little bit more practice, in DJing, and it could be for, like 2 people, and that's fine. Like, I get to at least just practice, and that's it. And so, and if, if it quote unquote succeeds, whatever that looks like, there'll be people giving me feedback, and people will be jumping in on this and just enjoying the music that I get to play. So, I don't know if without quarantine and without all like the weddings kind of getting canceled, or all my different gigs getting canceled, like, I don't know if I would have jumped into streaming like this. Maybe I would have just been gaming on the side or something. But definitely not. It definitely wouldn't have driven me like to this extent.
No, that makes a lot of sense, and I know what you mean when you go on like runs or walks and you have those like really deep thoughts, and
it's like that clarity just hits you.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's been like, quarantine has been really great in some ways for creatives, because they're finding new platforms and new ways to explore and express. So that's really great to hear. And yeah, I've hopped on your live a couple times, and it feels really fun just seeing your friend like live and then interacting with them. I think quarantine has been really hard to stay connected with people. So it's a really fun and live, real-time way to connect. And yeah, I also didn't know that you DJ'd for 8 years.
Okay. I'll clarify that now.
Yeah, I would love to hear that story.
So I started DJing in high school because my high school leadership teacher ran his own DJ stuff on the side. And he was like, yo, why are we paying for DJs at our own school dances? Does anyone here want to learn how to DJ so they could volunteer for your school? Was I getting scammed? It led me here, so I won't say. Right. So I kind of just learned from there, and I was just doing school dances for my own school. And then one day he hit me up and was like, dude, my DJ at this other school like bailed on me. The dance is going on now, and I set things up. And there's like a really long like playlist going on right now, but we still obviously need someone there. Can you do it? And so I like drove over really quick, finished up the dance, and like, that's cool. And I came to school next day, and he slid me some money, and I was like, oh my god, what? I'm getting paid. He was like, I was thinking about waiting till you graduated before I was, to actually hire you out to do this stuff. But do you want to work some other school gigs? And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And so I was doing that. And when I say DJing, I was really not DJing. I was pretty much a glorified Spotify playlist. I would just I'd put the crossfader, and it would be like, ooh, it's going over. And so that's pretty much what I did. And I did that until like junior year of college. And during high school, that was awesome. Like, it was really fun seeing all the high school like environments. I'm like, whoa, that's awesome. When I got to college, I was like, what am I doing? Like, these kids would come up to me and be like, hey man, can you play Red Nose for me? My girlfriend. And I'm like, dude, like, look, brother, I wish I could, but like, I'm hired by our teachers, and they told me not to, play these songs. And or they're like, come up to me like, yo, can you play my SoundCloud? And I'm like, is it clean? And he's like, go. I'm like, I can't, so it was just too much. And I was like, look, I'm done. And so I that's where I stopped. And that's like, again, throughout that time, I didn't really develop, I think, like actual DJ skills. It was definitely a cool networking thing. It was definitely a cool experience in general. But again, I don't consider myself like an actual DJ from what I've done there. If anything, the skills that I've learned was to be able to like read a room, to be able to read a crowd, and that was really good experience in general. But like as an actual DJ, in mixing and working on things, I wouldn't say I started before 2 years ago.
I'm like thinking about you, like in high school, and you're at these like dances, and you're like, oh my god, this is so much fun. But then when you get in college, and then you're at the dances, like, what was that shift in perspective like? Because I can only imagine like you're just like cringing inside or something.
That's exactly it, man. I think if anything, I really appreciated, after I graduated and I look back, I really appreciated the dances where it wasn't just like, oh, let me grind up with my girlfriend, and it's just like it was those dances where it was like, the kids were just there to have like genuinely have fun and dance with each other. And again, I'm not saying that because I have anything against grinding and all that stuff. It's just that I think some kids go to dances entirely focused on that. I'm like, yo, you don't need to dance for that. You can do that on your own.
Right.
But when it's a school gathering, a dance like that, or whether it's a school gathering or not, when it's a dance, like it should be a time of just like, yeah, excitement, celebration, just being with the people there. And so that definitely opened my perspective a lot. Like when I was able to look back at that and see like, yeah, man, there are the kids that are gonna look back and say like, yo, I really enjoyed my time at school. I had great time at dances. And the other kids that are gonna look back and be like, yo, my girlfriend was hot or something, and like so definitely changed my perspective after I graduated. Yeah.
I'm dead just thinking about that small kid asking like, yo, can you play Red now?
Dude, that small kid in my story, that represented a lot more than just that kid.
How many kids were like, yo, can you play Mo Bamba, please?
Dude, Mo Bamba when that was hot. Oh brother.
Oh my gosh, what a time. Have you played ever at a club or anything like that?
No, I haven't played at a club. Clubs are tough because you gotta have some clout. You gotta have like some actual credibility for that stuff. I've done like small house parties and everything, weddings and all that for sure. I've done events. And that honestly, I think is more my speed. I'm not sure if I'm a huge club guy in general for myself. That is kind of on the bucket list, I think, for us, like as a DJ. Like I would love to do a club one day. I really want to do like a rooftop bar. I think that would be like, I think that's kind of my speed. That'd be really nice and chill.
I can see that.
Yeah. So yeah, I think one day I would love to try a club, but I don't think that's like the end goal for me.
Yeah, for real. Because I was thinking that clubs are kind of the equivalent for like high school dances for adults.
Yeah.
Like I was just thinking about this one time I was in New York with Annabelle, our friend Annabelle, and we were at this Korean bar type of thing, and we were yelling at the DJ like, yo, can you play Thank You Next? And I was like, wow, I am the small kid.
It's a full circle moment, like, I'm back in those shoes.
Yeah, but you kind of talked about how when you were first starting DJing, it was a lot more of just like fading in, fading out to the next song, and more like a Spotify playlist connoisseur type thing. So what kind of marked that transition, and what kind of like marked a different journey for your DJing? Like how did that change your style?
Yeah, it was oh, my controller's over there. But after I got my DJ controller, and we talked about this, Juby.
Yeah.
The DDJ, sorry, SB3. That's my DJ controller. And I will say this entirely right now to be clear. Like, you do not need a DJ controller to be a DJ. You could definitely do a lot of what a DJ does, without having to, cash shell out all the cash, and try to get, all the equipment that you need. But for me, when I got that, I was like, whoa, like I can spin, or like and I could throw in all these effects now and stuff. And so it definitely does help to have a controller, but again, you don't need to have one to be a DJ. But so I guess like the signal of the transition was my first wedding, or my first big wedding. I technically did a wedding when I was still DJing high schools, but again, I don't think that I was really DJing back then. But I remember I was telling like an older brother of mine, like, hey, I'm thinking about like actually trying to practice as a DJ and figure this out, like learn how to spin, learn how to, mix a little better and everything. And he was like, hey, I have, my wedding is coming up next month and I will give you the opportunity to DJ that. And I'll also buy you that controller that we're talking about all that stuff. I'll buy you that controller if you want to practice and do that and start off your career at my wedding. And I was like, oh my, like, are you sure, dude? Like, like this would be my first ever like legitimate DJ thing, like, are you sure about that? And he's like, yeah, I believe in you. I trust, and I want to help. If anything, I want to help lift you up in what you can do, or like in this journey, I guess, for you to work as a DJ. And so I was like, wow, like that, that was awesome. And so, yeah, that like getting that board and then having the opportunity again within that month to actually do that, like to practice with it, that was definitely the change. It changed a lot for me, because instead of just moving the crossbar over left and right, I'm adding effects, I'm spinning a little bit, I'm beat matching. And so yeah, it changes the game. It changed the game a lot for me, at least.
No, for real. We chatted a bit about, because I was asking Sunny for some advice on what kind of equipment he used. And for real, I was kind of watching some of the tutorials that he sent over, and I have so much admiration for DJs, because you really have to know the songs really well, and beat matching. I don't know, transitions are everything when it comes to DJing. It really helps with the flow. I think crowds really react well to that. And yeah, I feel like that's amazing to hear about your friend like giving you the opportunity and really supporting you in that career. And yeah, I can't imagine that. I feel like weddings are so fulfilling too, because you're just purely celebrating. Hopefully not a bunch of people like grinding on each other, but yeah, I just love like that idea. Like everyone's super happy and celebrating. So
yeah.
What kind of music do you what kind of music do you typically like to spin, or is it all types of genres and whatnot?
Yeah, I personally I personally love like R&B, kind of like a chill pop. Yeah, so I think, yeah, if anything, like my music taste definitely projects a lot into like how I mix, or like the music that I play. Yeah, like it's definitely a lot more chill, or a little bit more laid back and stuff. I want people to vibe and enjoy the space, and kind of, or enjoy the people around them, and like relax a little bit. But I did realize, like in in a celebratory time like that, right? You want to have the bangers, you want to have people dancing and enjoying and grooving. And so I also love songs that just kind of get people off their feet, and like it's those songs when you play and then everyone's like, oh,
that's my song.
Ooh, they're out to the dance, or they're dragging their friends on and stuff. And so, well, the thing is, as I was like going out into doing these gigs and stuff like that, I realized, like, obviously I have a list of those songs in my head. I have the bangers, I have the chill songs in my head and everything like that. But that obviously doesn't encompass like the entire audience, or like it doesn't encompass like even a majority of the people that are there. They have their own songs that they really like. They have their own genres that they like. And so that was actually a huge, I guess, like one of the main points that I wanted to hit as I was like going into streaming and working on this, is that I wanted to make sure that the music that I'm playing is from the people, for the people. Like that it's like, I want to continue to expand my library and my music knowledge, because I know fully well that like I don't know like a lot of what there is out there for music, because it's just so vast.
Right.
So Yeah, I mean, to go back to your question, I definitely love, the chill stuff. I definitely love the R&B and all that stuff, but I want to work. I have been working on that to, you know, um, get the music out there that other people want to know. Genres that I'm definitely not super comfortable with.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I love the from the people for the people, because I think on your stream, do you usually kind of give credit to who recommended the song that you're playing?
Yeah, I try my best to. Yeah.
No, that's super fun, because I see on Sunny's Instagram, he's always like, yo, like send in your requests, send in your recommendations, and yeah, like there's a bunch of different genres. I think you recently did you do a Korean R&B one recently?
Yeah, that one was super fun.
Dude, I love K R&B mixes. I find so many good ones on SoundCloud, but yeah, it's for real super inspiring to see you kind of establish yourself as a DJ and like what your branding is, but also really listen to the people and what they want. But yeah, you mentioned you always have like these bangers in mind. Like, what are some songs that really get the crowd going, like off the top of your head?
Oh man, off the top of my head.
The pressure's on.
Ooh, pressure's definitely on. So depends what you're looking at, right? It depends. Okay, so this is if you're looking at the timeline of a wedding. First couple of songs, you want to, at least for me, this is kind of how I look at you. You want to throw on songs that are kind of hot now, or more so recently, and usually more. I usually go a little bit more mainstream, right? So I'm throwing on Drake. I'm throwing on, Ariana. I'm throwing on whatever is just kind of popping right now, because a lot of people just be like, oh, I know this song. I'm kind of good and everything that. And then as people get a little bit more drunk, or like a little bit more, they're not like super drunk yet or anything throughout the night, then you start throwing on songs that people are like really grooving to. So you're looking at like Bruno Mars, you're looking at Justin Timberlake, and they're like, ooh yeah, they can dance to that, and then when they're like, you're probably about an hour and a half in, people are probably a little tipsy, right? They drank enough, right? And so they're focused on dancing. And then you start throwing in throwbacks. You throw on replay. You throw in down. You throw in low. Stuff like that. People start screaming, like, oh, and so that's how you get them. That's kind of like my formula, depending on the crowd, obviously. If they want a little bit more of a hip hop vibe, then I'll kind of go towards that. If they want more of the pop vibe, then I can start going towards that. But that's usually how I do things. I don't know if I have specific bangers in my head. I go on the playlist, but yeah.
Wait, I love to hear that timeline, because I think if I was at a wedding, I haven't been to a wedding in a minute, but I feel like I recognize that timeline a bit, and it's always so much fun. And I just remembered this one wedding I went to like 4 years ago, but I remember their song Down the Aisle was someone playing Sunday Candy on the piano, and it was such a good, like, it just made the crowd so happy. And I think they transitioned to like a really fun song for the other people walking down. So it's amazing to see how much music can really change the environment and all the feelings, and
it like almost makes or breaks the way. Like like the vibe could be completely off. The music is bad.
No, for real. Yeah, because I think a lot of when I think about high school dances, I think I was always like, oh, the music was bad or the music was really good. Like, it really makes or breaks the experience. So it's amazing to hear that you've kind of solidified your groove at these weddings. And yeah, for Twitch streaming, you've been streaming for maybe 3-4 months.
I think I just hit 4.
Okay, nice. Have you been able to build a community and meet other streamers through this opportunity?
Yeah, that's been super cool. There's this I I think again, like kind of going back to like you guys' last podcast with Lean's Bean, she was talking about like the girl gamer group, kind of like that network. I think just like that, we have kind of like a smaller DJ network too. And it's dope. Like they definitely love to support and you know, shout out the other DJs like when they come in and everything that, and they're all super talented people. With, you know, all kinds of different backgrounds and all that, and so, and different specialties in music. And the highlight for me was like when they recently did a trick or stream kind of event where it was a 12-hour like streaming train, where every hour there was a DJ who would just do a set, and then they would after that they would raid another do you guys know what raiding is?
Yeah, I just learned that term.
Okay. Yeah. They would raid
over my head.
They would raid the next DJ and it would keep going on, and then they did that all in hopes to raise money for charity. And I thought that was super dope. And so again, sometimes it's you know, I'm very humbled to be reminded that it's more than just like, you know, your own personal journey as like a musical streamer and stuff, not to try to get big on your own, but to really remember that there's so many other people, there's a community of people that are, you know, on the same boat as you and want to see you succeed just as much as you're, you know, as themselves. And so I'm very thankful to have like connections in other streamers like that. As for like my own stream, it's been awesome. Like I definitely started off really blessed to have some friends that wanted to support me throughout this, and like be there for me as I'm like, you know, just starting and everything like that. And from there, that was a really great foundation to start bringing in like other audience members, like very, you know, I definitely go, I think my growth has been very, you know, very humbly slow. But you know, I don't say that as if like I'm like, oh man, like I'm such a failure as a streamer or anything, but to know that, yo, it's, you know, it's a tough thing to do. And I'm just grateful to have like even people coming in just to watch, you know, regularly. And so I'm very thankful for that. One of my mods is someone that I still have not met in person. I think he's somewhere on the East Coast, and he's very kind, and I'm very glad that he's able to come through. And so yeah, growing that community and slowly working on it to get outside of just, you know, just my friends and stuff like that has been really fun to get to know a lot of different people.
No, yeah. Oh, that's wild that your mod lives and you've never met them and they live on the East Coast.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I know what you mean though. I think when Clarence and I were like broadcasting on the radio, like college radio, it was so nice to see people like put it in their calendars, like, oh, this is happening at 8 a.m. or something, and come by. And I think Clarence and I we had some rough numbers some days, but still, even like those 8 people that show up, it means a lot, right? So
yeah,
no, yeah, that's super refreshing to hear. And yeah, I think it's amazing to hear Twitch streamers use their platform, and how advocacy can really fit into every single industry and passion as well. But we also saw recently that you got more into beat making. So how has that been? We saw that you made top 10 for Kenny Beats, and that's amazing.
Thank you. I should clarify. That top 10 placing was not for like the legitimate Kenny Beats beat battle. Those are crazy. And I'll talk about that more in just a second. But what I placed in was a community battle, and so they have that run through the Discord, and it's definitely not as big. I don't want to downplay what I did because I'm honestly very proud of that. I was very happy with it. But it's community run. It's not like the legitimate thing that Kenny Beats streams and stuff. So but yeah, beat making has been super fun. Super fun. To anyone that's listening, I guess, Kenny Beats is a producer, big inspiration of mine, has been working with a lot of, I don't want to say like underground, but definitely not as mainstream rappers, and has been working from there to slowly grow a much larger audience. And he's been doing some amazing things with a lot of cool like music. And and it's not just there. It's not just that. Like I really respect him for what he stands for, and the way that he advocates for a lot of different things. So I really love him and his community. That he's inspired me a lot to start making music too. And so yeah, beat making has been really cool, really cool experience, because it's that in itself is very interactive. I think, or especially at the size of my audience, I think that music streaming is tough because I think if you look at like a gamer, the content is the game, and then the streamer gets to talk and interact with their audience. Music streamers, their content is music, and so that's what people are listening to. And so for the streamer to talk, they have to turn on the music, they have to turn on their content, right? So it is a little tough in that way. So when I'm making music, when I'm making a beat, that's a great opportunity for me to obviously pause or to work with my audience to see like, hey, what do you guys think about this so far? And then there's a lot of people in my chat that'll be like, I like this, I like that, or like, hey, why don't you try this? I have an old coworker of mine actually, who's very talented musician, and he found my stream, and he's whenever I'm making music, he's usually in there, and he's like, yo, let me record something on my saxophone real quick, and I'll send you a sample.
Oh my
just
God.
throw that into the beat. I'm like, that's crazy. That like I'm very thankful to have people that I know like that. And so that's what's been really cool about making beats. Again, I think it's more of an interactive experience, and it's just been a lot of fun. And again, seeing like, whereas where I'm like, when I'm DJing, it's a lot of fun, right? And I'm playing with music that's already been created. But to make music in itself, like that is an entirely different experience. And definitely like it's super rewarding when I'm done. And it's like I've only been making like minute-long beats, and I'm like, whoa, when I finish, and like, that it's a minute. But to me, I'm like, that's really cool to see it all come together. And then yeah, for the sorry, to go into the Kenny Beats beat battle, that was definitely a cool experience. That was the first one that I entered, the community one. And the way that works is they give you a sample pack, and you're not allowed to use anything outside of that. So everyone plays with the same cards. The real thing you get like 2 hours for the community beat battle, you get 24 hours. But I pretty much only did it in about 3 hours because I didn't have time to work on it the next day because of work. So just jumped into it, kind of I cranked it out on a stream with some people in chat, and that was really fun. And I was expecting like 2 votes, so I was like, whatever. But then when I checked the vote count, I was at 8, and I was like, that's insane. So I placed right top 10, and I think I was like 7th, and I was like, dude, that's a big dub in my book. So it was a great experience, and I want to continue to work on that.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I feel like when you really go into making the beat, and like or for me as a viewer, seeing like your file too, you just realize how intricate that shit is, and like you really just props to the producers and beat makers and all that.
Yeah. I was so naive going into it. I was like, yeah, I have a musical background. I think it was fine. And
I'm just throw the saxophone sample on, like
drag and drop. But no, it's tough. And so yeah, my respect for all the producers and musicians out there, like exponentially increased after that. So
no, that's why I just have so much admiration for Twitch streamers and creatives on Twitch streams, because you're being pretty vulnerable, like showing your process and showing like the mistakes that you might make. Like I think I mentioned to Clarence the other day that I found this one designer named Kel Lauren, and she does Twitch streaming, and she shows her entire process. And I was thinking about like just what it would be like to be in those shoes, and I would be really shy on like showing my process. So I just think it's so cool to see, like what Clarence said, the file. I think 2 years ago, Sango came to UW and like showed his Ableton file and was just kind of going through that process, and it's super cool to see like where he started making beats in his basement for his friends, and then now he's huge, and also, yes, a Seattle local. So do you have any producers or DJs that you really are inspired by, that you just admire their work a lot?
Yeah, I mean, again, Kenny Beats,
Mhm.
huge inspiration for me for sure. Um, um, he has a friend named Monty Booker, who's also like so unbelievably talented that I like watching. Someone from his so what's awesome from his beat battles is that, like, obviously they highlight a lot of great producers, and so um there's this dude named OK Sammy who won. I think he won the Kenny Beats beat battle like twice, and so Kenny Beats banned him from entering more beat battles because he was
Oh, I saw that. I saw that
yeah.
on my YouTube. I thought that was funny.
And he does that for, you know, those producers that have won too much. So there are a couple, but you know, OK Sammy is like just so, he's so clean with it, man. So I love watching him. He's been doing his thing too recently. They had they recently had a Kenny Beats beat battle like finale kind of for like season 1, quote unquote, where they got a couple of the producers that won, who have won, I guess, like in the history so far, and did like a final beat battle with all of them and stuff like that. And then OK Sammy got like second, and I was like, dude, like
Damn.
robbed. But anyways, yeah, no. So big inspiration. Big inspiration too for me because he's actually, I think he's a software engineer by day and a music producer by night, and so
Oh,
he
wow.
balances that really well too. So anytime I think to myself like, man, I don't know if I can do this, I'm like, oh, my guy out there is, you know, doing a software engineering job, and he's like, you know, and he's winning Kenny Beats beat battles. Like, God knows. So he's a huge inspiration on the. So those are like producers that I really love. If I'm looking at DJs, I have been looking at a lot of Twitch DJs, because, you know, honestly, I'm not like huge into clubs. I'm not huge into all like I don't know. I didn't really get a chance to look into like the local DJ scene as well. And so the only, like, I guess, inspirations I have right now are people online. And so, I guess one inspiration is DJ Carlo Attendido. He's the one that I sent you links to, Julie. He's someone that's on YouTube, and he does a phenomenal job of really teaching like beginner DJs like how to start, or like teaches different tricks and all that stuff. But then on Twitch, there's Four Color Zach. There's Julian B. There are people in that community that I love. There's DJ Wavy BB. There's Party Arty. Yeah, so there's a ton of DJs that I'm very thankful to like just be able to watch or like know. Same with producers and all that stuff. And so the hope is one day, right, to get to that level, that people could see me and what I do and be inspired to continue on with their own creative projects. So yeah.
Dude, yeah, that's so amazing that you've been able to like find other DJs, other producers through Twitch. And yeah, with quarantine, that is, you know, the only platform we'll be able to really explore. Like, we can't go out to these venues and these clubs. So no, yeah, I think, wait, is Julian B part of the TFTI LA? I don't know if that's the same DJ, but it might be different.
I'm not sure. I've never heard of TFT. Wait, what was that?
I think it's like a group of DJs, but it's called TFTI LA. I just found them on SoundCloud, but they have I think they're more like club based, but
She might be though, because I know, at least from her streams and stuff, she has definitely like a good network of DJs, and I'm pretty sure she is SoCal. So it could be her, yeah.
No, yeah. I think I listened to one of her mixes that, like, I think I'm probably the top listener. Fun fact, on SoundCloud, people can see who the top listener is. I did not know that. I know. And you can see like how many times you listen to it too. Yeah.
But Sunny, I'm curious to know, you know, like with you kind of streaming and showing your process on Instagram and whatnot, what is some of your goals, whether they be short term or long term, for this thing that you're kind of, this journey that you're going on?
Yeah. Goals. goals.
Tough question. I mean, it could be tiny goals too. Like I feel like it doesn't have to be like, oh, I want to make it to Coachella. No.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it's like a skill that you're trying to learn really well, or something.
Yeah. If I'm looking tangibly, I've been working on scratching, and I want to be like pretty solid at that. I don't think that you need to know how to scratch to be a good DJ, but I think it'd be kind of cool. So like that's something I'll be working on. I want to be able to scratch and like just do that pretty easily, I think, like at any gig. So that's a tangible goal that I want to do. But like I think most of my goals for all this, they're very broad or very like very big overview, because it's stuff like, one, like I want to grow my library of music. I think that's always going to be a goal as a DJ, to continue to just like get more music, right, that people want to hear. And two is like I just want to get good enough, right, where I'm just confident in it. Because I think like in my first 2 years, I'm like, like, oh, like, yeah, I kind of DJ, like, yeah, like I'm working on it, like, yeah, but I want to be able to be like, yeah, like, hey, like I DJ, if you want to listen to my stuff, like, right, here's my SoundCloud, or like, hey, here's my Twitch stream, you could watch some videos that I've done. And so it's all about confidence, I think. And so I want to like, and I know I'm like working towards that, and so I'm really happy about that. And yeah, I think, and this is like such like a cliche like, hey, but like, yeah, I do want to create like a community that just like enjoys listening to music or musical content together. And so if I'm able to create that through a stream, like I'm very, very thankful for that. And so yeah, I think I don't really have like quantifiable goals, I think, like, or like I don't really care about like, oh, I'm trying to hit partner, like, oh, I'm trying to hit these numbers.
Yeah,
stuff like that. To me, it's just like, yeah, like if there are people there that want to watch and people there that want to enjoy the music that I'm making, then hey, like I'm happy with that,
Mm-hmm. Facts. And you're on your way to all those goals, for real.
Yeah, well said, dude.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, everyone, thank you so much for listening. We will have, Sunny's Twitch channel in the bio, as well as his Instagram, because it's super cool because he goes live on both, which is really accessible for everyone. But yeah, before we wrap the episode, we would love to hear your song of the week, if you have one. Something you've been listening to, something that's been getting you through the week. It can be anything.
Yes, and on that topic too, I'll also plug the playlist that it's on, because I just created a Sunny DJ 2 playlist. It's 2 because again, this is the second playlist I've made of just kind of songs that I really enjoy. So you can definitely find that there. You can find it on like when you guys kind of go through the Instagram or through the Twitch, you guys can find my Spotify and all that. So that's how you guys can find it. But I guess one of my favorite songs on this playlist is Neither Here Nor There by Toby Lou. And I've been jamming out to that. Or Pretty Pink Room by I Am June. Yeah, those are 2 songs. Sorry, I chose 2.
Fire. Deserving. Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm excited to listen to that playlist. But yeah, Clarence, do you have one?
Yeah. In light of the recent terrible weather that we went through this past 2 weeks, and then now the sun's finally coming out, I was listening to a lot of like throwbacks, like Curtis Mayfield, and so there's a song called So In Love that I just been vibing to. Definitely like lifting my spirits, so I like really enjoy those throwback songs, and like wave throwback, not the Get Low and the
No, for real, Clarence, I've been listening to some of your playlists too. Like I listened to Brewing on the way home yesterday. Really calmed me down. But yeah, I think my song of the week is very opposite, but I wanted to shed light on Megan's new album that she released this week. I don't know, she's just an artist I'm just super admirable of. I think I love how she uses her platform and she's so powerful. But definitely like there's a time and place to listen to it for sure, because it's quite, I think like one of the tracks I was listening to it pretty loudly, and there's like a lot of aggressive like sex sounds in the beginning. So I was like, okay, I'm a wait till I have headphones. But I think my favorite song is the one featuring SZA. So Freaky Girls featuring SZA. Can't wait for SZA's drop too. Hopefully that'll be soon. But yeah, that's my song of the week. We have a balance here, so
Yeah.
works out.
Healthy mix.
But yeah, Sunny, it was so great to talk to you and hear about your story and your goals for the future. And yeah, Clarence and I are super excited to support you, and yeah, just excited for the collaboration.
Thank you so much, Dave, for coming onto the show.
Thank you guys for having me. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad I could just chat and talk. And I think it's awesome you guys are highlighting just different creatives. So all the power to you guys. I'll continue to support on my end too for your guys' podcast. And yeah, just very thankful to be here.
Yay, thank you so much. But yeah, okay, bye everyone. Tune in next week. Peace.